Our Freilich in Chanukah. The Sfas Emes, the Ger Rebbe, makes an amazing observation. He explains that when one looks in the Shulchan Aruch in Orach Chaim Siman Taf Reish Ayin Aleph, where the title of the Siman, the title of this particular chapter in Shulchan Aruch is How to Light Your Neros Chanukah. Seder Hadlokas Ner Chanukah. How do you light the Ner Chanukah? And the Shulchan Aruch does something amazing. The Shulchan Aruch begins with the halacha of Mahadrin Mina Mahadrin. You see, dear friends, the Gemara Masechah Shabbos has a whole discussion about how you should light Ner Chanukah. So, for example, we know that the halacha is, on a technical level, the way you could fulfill this mitzvah is Ner Ishu Beiso, just one candle per home, and not one candle per person. One candle per home every single night. One candle on the first night, one candle on the fifth night, one candle on the eighth night. That's it. Then the Gemara goes through all of the different variations, or all the different ways of performing the mitzvah, ultimately again till the Gemara gets to the point of what's called Mahadrin Mina Mahadrin, the best, most preferred, most beautiful way to perform the mitzvah, which of course, as we know, is adding on one additional candle per night. And the Sfas Emes asks, when the Shulchan Aruch brings down this halacha, the Shulchan Aruch skips the Ner Ishu Beiso. The Shulchan Aruch skips the most basic halacha of one candle per night and goes immediately to the halacha of Mahadrin and Mahadrin. Skips immediately to the best. Now that's not normally the way that the halacha works. Normally the way the Shulchan Aruch works is we'll tell you the basic halacha. Here's what you have to do to fulfill your obligation, and then we'll build on that one level after another. So you would start with mitzvah pshuta, the simple mitzvah, and then you work your way to the Mahadrin and Mahadrin. Yet again, the Shulchan Aruch over here by Ner Chanukah says we begin with Mahadrin and Mahadrin. And why? And the Sfas Emes says something so beautifully, and I want to quote to you his wording. He says, "Hatamhu ki b'Chanukah efshar lahagia lemadregos kavos af shelo kiseder harogil v'hativi." Listen to the words of the Sfas Emes. Throughout the rest of the year, growth, personalistic spiritual growth follows an incremental model. Growth is like a ladder. In fact, again, the Sfarim bring down when Yaakov Avinu has his dream about spiritual growth, it's a ladder. Rung after rung after rung. And you can't really try to take two rungs at a time because you run the risk of slipping and falling all the way down. We all know that the way personalistic spiritual growth works is step after step. And sometimes life is baby step after baby step. And if you try to go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, it's not going to work. It happens. You see it where people bite off too much Yiddishkeit, too much than they can chew. People get enthralled, they get excited, they get passionate, and they want to go literally again from Aleph to Saf in a blink of an eye, and it doesn't work. In order to go ahead and grow as a Jew, I have to create a sustained plan of incremental growth. Says the Sfas Emes. There's one exception to this rule. Chanukah. On Chanukah, a person could achieve elated spiritual heights instantaneously. There's the ability to reach the top of the ladder with just one step. There is the ability to ascend to unparalleled spiritual heights that throughout the rest of the year would normally take an incredible amount of preparation, an incredible amount of achana, many smaller steps in order to get to that exalted pinnacle of spirituality. Yet on Chanukah, I can get to the top of the ladder in an instant. He goes on, Ve'efsher likbots yosher ela madregos hagavos. On Chanukah, it is possible to get to the highest levels of ruchnius, the highest levels of spirituality, with even just the smallest of steps. And I think what the Sfas Emes is sensitizing us to is that Chanukah is a time of miracles, but not just any miracle. You know, the miracle of fire, the miracle of the menorah, the miracle of Eish. Eish, kiner Hashem nishmas adam. The soul itself is compared to a fire. The soul itself is compared to a flame. And what happened on Chanukah? What happened on Chanukah is the little light, the little flame became something so magnificent. The little flame that only had enough fuel to remain lit for 1 day remained lit for 8 days, which tells you that on Chanukah, even the smallest amount of fuel could achieve the greatest, most luminescent flame. And that's, says the Sfas Emes, that's why the Shulchan Aruch begins with Mahadrin Mina Mahadrin. The rest of the year, you start at the basic mitzvah and you build your way up to Mahadrin Mina Mahadrin. Chanukah, you have the ability to get to Mahadrin Mina Mahadrin instantaneously. Which tells us that on Chanukah, whatever spiritual steps we take are magnified. You know what it's like? Like the big craze in Jewish fundraising. It's been like this for a little while, these matching campaigns. Remember when it first started, everybody got very excited about it, right? Because you donate, and what happens? You put in $500, and suddenly again, it's 4 times matching. I'm giving $2,000 to the organization. Incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Chanukah is like the spiritual matching campaign. Whatever step I take, whatever I do, the Ribono Shel Olam matches it tenfold. So during the rest of the year, 1 step of spiritual growth yields 1 step of spiritual growth. On Chanukah, 1 step of spiritual growth yields 8 steps of spiritual growth. 1 little step, 1 little rung of ascension is like going up 8 rungs of ascension. The halacha doesn't start with a simple halacha, because Chanukah is about opening the book, opening the page, opening the siman, and getting right to Mahadrin and Mahadrin. We're getting right to the top of the ladder. That is the koach of these days. Any small step we take towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu, any small step we take to get closer to our neshamas, any steps we take to get closer to Kedusha are magnified and amplified like Mahadrin min Mahadrin. Let's take advantage of these days. Because although we're always on a quest for growth, very often in the world of Ruchnius, you get out what you put in. There's reciprocal investment. Whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get out. Chanukah is the Ribono Shel Olam's matching campaign. Whatever you put in, the Ribono Shel Olam will give it back to you tenfold. You take 1 step on the ladder, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will push you up 8 rungs. You begin with the simple mitzvah, you will find yourself Mahadrin min Mahadrin. May be Zochem Yirtzeh Hashem to tap in to this beautiful spiritual energy, this beautiful dynamic. May we be Zochem Yirtzeh Hashem to scale the ladder of spiritual accomplishment. May we be Zochem Yirtzeh Hashem to have a true Mahadrin min Mahadrin experience of Chanukah. Wishing everyone a wonderful day and a freilichen Chanukah.